Good afternoon, everyone. You know, it was in 2008 that I was standing here again for Bangalore Freshers Day, and I remember a pastor here who was here. It was quite by accident I was invited, and I had never been to Bangalore as a student or working here, but we always hear about Bangalore. And so today, I'm so happy to be back here again. Keeping with the progress that has been happening with Bangalore over the students and the community that has existed here. It's a real pleasure for me. And when they asked me, without any hesitation, I said yes to Bangalore. I had another function in Singapore, but I said, that can wait. This is more important. And I'm so happy to be here with you this morning. So before we start, I just want to say a quick prayer, right? Okay. Father, I thank you for this time. It's not me, but it's you who needs the stage. And I thank you for giving me this opportunity to be an ambassador. At this point, as I stand here, I want it to be all about you. So not my words, but yours. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. So, yes, I am so excited. Now I'm ready. I'm not your usual type of person who will speak give the very formal speeches and all. I'm a very informal person that way. I like interactions. I like being one of the person. I'm a very simple person in those terms. So to me, it is wonderful to come and see here. The number of young people, but I can guarantee you that there are thousands more who are in the city who are not here today. Yes or no? And, those of you who are coming and attending this for the first time, I want it to be an encouragement that there is a community out here who's looking out for you. And in your own way, when you go out and you meet other people who have not attended, I think you should reach out to them and tell them what a great opportunity they miss if they don't come together as family. So that's what you are here as family. My colleague, Sweetie, who is here, she must be wondering when we said it says Naga, and then a lot of them who stood up said Manipur state. So, I will explain to her how the Nagas work later. But it's wonderful to see that there are so many of you who come together and work. It's rather unfortunate that we do have a few divisions where we segregate ourselves as just different organizations who will celebrate in their own terms. But for those of you who have ignored all of those and come forward and are celebrating together, congratulations. This is what being a family is all about. So when I thought about it, I was thinking, what should I say? Yeah? What should I share with them? Then I thought, what am I going to be saying? There's so much that you guys know more than I do. At this day and age, young people seem to know more than all of us. I'm 50 years old now, and then many of you probably know 100 times more than what I do, considering technology is at the tip of your fingers now. But there are certain things that I think we have a little more to share, which is experience. You're yet to go through all of those experiences. And I can guarantee you, nothing changes. What my parents experience or your parents and grandparents experience is the same every year. Come in and go in and go out. Technology might change, but human experiences or human wants, human needs, those don't change at all. So when you come to this city, full of eagerness, full of enthusiasm about the new ventures that you're going to be taking up, the new education that you think that you're going to be empowering yourself with, this is a wonderful opportunity not to close your eyes to what is around you, but to embrace the things that you're going to be seeing and learning. Not everything about our culture is perfect, nor everything that you see outside in other cultures is perfect. There are good things about our culture, and there are good things about other cultures as well. And it is important that when you are in places like this, that you learn how to imbibe what is good from among other cultures as well. You are ambassadors of our people here. This is something you must never forget. Wherever you are placed, you know that everybody will be looking at you because you look different physically, racially. Most of us look different than the everyday people that you see in this city. That makes you stand out more because you will be the minority, but don't let that stop you from being the best. Don't let that stop you from excelling. Don't let that stop you from being proactive. Unfortunately, this is family, so I wanted to share something, which is our people tend to be a little quiet. And I have to keep on saying, please come out, please come in. There's nothing wrong in making a mistake. Unless you make a mistake, you don't learn. And that is the reason why everybody thinks we have to be perfect. This is so much about our culture. I think it's because we believe so much in status once upon a time. Our ancestors believed in earning status, and I think we've carried it on to the next generation, in today's generation also, where we're looking so much about what community or what society will say to us that we forget that sometimes being brave and stepping out from our comfort zone is what makes us stand out as good people, as contributing citizens, and that is what is needed. Like it or not, however different we are, at the moment, we are a part of India, which means this is a community that we need to learn from, we need to share, we need them to learn about us as well. A few years ago, when I was asked to felicitate the President of India for a CII program, as I stood there to speak, I was just thinking, why don't I use this opportunity to share how the rest of the country needs to study about us as well? Because in history, we study about them, we study about their culture, we study about their religion, but the Northeast is not studied at all. And so that was one time when I brought it up, and I remember a lot of people out there came up to me afterwards and said, this is so relevant. But you know who is responsible for making sure that those other people learn about us? It's you and me. You and me who have opportunities to go out and meet people from other communities. You and me who will be the best representatives to share about our culture, to share about our traditions, to share about our people and our land, about the resources that we have. If you and I don't do that, how will they learn? Because someone may twist certain things and share with them what they want them to hear. So when we have guests who come from other parts of the country visiting our region, they say, it's so different from what we imagined. It's so different from what we heard. Why? Why is it so different? That is because we, those of us who have opportunities to be outside, are actually not doing the job that we're supposed to. Which means you're supposed to represent us the best way. Many of you who are here because you are obviously the best. Whether you get a job, or whether you're studying, or whether you're working, you don't just get a job and come. You do interviews. That means someone is selecting you thinking that you're the best, that is going to be representing whatever company that you're going to be working for, or whatever schools you're going to be studying. Not everybody gets it. You are the privileged lot to be in Bangalore. Congratulations for getting here. And congratulations to those of you who I've met who have been here for more than a decade as well, and continuing on and bringing laurels to the community. It is rather unfortunate that when we go back home and we talk about our community living outside, we only often talk about the negative and we don't talk about the positive contributions that our people are making as well. Last night, when I sat down for a meal with the young people who came to receive me, it was just amazing to see where they started and where they are. It was great to see the camaraderie that they have. It was great to see that they have not forgotten their roots as well. Many young people who are here today may be thinking, or some of you, your friends who have not come, maybe are thinking, oh, what is it? This is just another community affair. But when push comes to shove and you have to acknowledge that, when you are in trouble, who comes to your rescue? It's your community who comes first. Back home, we're too far away to do things. The ones who are here are going to be looking after you. Be proactive. Step up to the plate. Tell them, I'm here, what can I do? Find time to participate. When I was a student, I did. When I moved to America, it was very difficult for me. I didn't even know. Now, my sisters now live in America and they have all these Naga communities that they get together with. They have fellowships and all. When I was studying there more than 2 decades ago and working there, I'm sure people were there, but technology was not what it is today. We didn't get together as much. And I missed that. You must not take what your community has to offer you for granted. Your parents have sent you, some with trepidation, some with full of hope. I say that your parents are afraid of sending you out because I speak to thousands of parents all the time, and everybody keeps on saying the same thing. Oh, if only they can find a job here. If only they can find a job home. But I want you to know something. Unless you step out of your comfort zone, you will not be able to come back and share as well. When you are working in other communities, when you are working in other societies, when you are studying among other people with different capacities, a smart person will push themselves to make sure that they learn from those. A smart person will make sure that they gather more information that will be useful for them and their communities as well. I pray that those of you who are here will come back one day. I know lots of people say, oh, everybody says come back home one day and contribute. Yes, I will say the same thing again, because we are a young society where modern civilization is concerned in the sense of academics or industries and things like that. And this will be shared only when you who are out here, someday when you come home and you're able to set up your own establishments, when you're able to gather people together and share information, then only can we see that rapid change that we want. We want full-baked, not half-baked. And this is very important, that you immerse yourself wherever you are full-heartedly, that you do a great job in whatever place that you are placed, whether it is in school. Learn how to multitask. Today's world is for the multitasker. If you have only one track and you're not able to adjust with things that are happening around you, if you're not able to volunteer, if you're not able to participate with the community, then you'll find it very difficult later on when you have your own families, when you have to handle many decisions together at the same time as well. So this is why I want you all to understand that when you come together here as a community, don't ignore them completely. Don't think that they are big brother, they're looking over your shoulder all the time. They are there, yes, so for some as a conscience, for some as a mentor, for some as a parent, for some waiting for you to be the mentor as well. Most of us, I think in today's times, I think most Nagas are Christians, and so we are very privileged that many of you in a city like this also are getting opportunities to be in a place like this, to be worshiping together, to find God. I can tell you that when we were young as well, no different from many of you, there were times when we are so lazy, we don't want to get out of bed for that NCF program or the church program, and we say, oh, we'll avoid it this time. It's so easy to give excuses, but it's only once in a while that you get together and hear. When you have elders who are around to mentor you, they take the place of your parents who are far away. So don't ignore it. When there are others working in different environments, you can actually go up and just speak to them and say, what is the job that you do? Can you share with me? I am sure they are not selfish people who are going to say, only I want to be successful. No. We want a community to prosper. We want a community to do well. We want our community to be walking billboards for the rest of the people as well. And this I share with you just as I share with other young people in other parts of the country as well. For young people who are here today for the first time, or who are assimilating into the culture that is already existing, I want to share with you not to have a chip on your shoulder about, or preconceived notions about what is going to happen. Don't come into new places thinking, oh, they're going to be ready to attack me, or, ignore those trivial things. I know many of you will hear those things from uneducated people. I call them uneducated people because they are the only ones who will make remarks such as small eyes or chinky or these things. These are so negligible. How many times have people been called that? Ignore it. Ignore it. Don't get offended. I want you to understand there is no point. When I watch these interviews where people are hyping these, I want you all to understand, just ignore it. There's nothing that they can do to harm you when you ignore it. Laugh it off. We went through the same thing We laugh it off. Don't pick a fight. It's not worth it. You are better than that. People will egg you on. People will needle you. People will nudge you to see how far they can push you. Ignore it. But be smart. Don't roll over either. Be smart. Know your rights. That is something that is very important, but don't unnecessarily fight. I don't want to preach, but as a mother who has a teenager, I will share with you the same thing that I say to her as I sent her off to college in America. I will say to you the same thing. When you are here for a purpose, fulfill it. Don't waste time in just having a good time. I know some of you said you wanted to have a good time. Let that good time be limited to occasions like this. What you are sent here for, please make sure that you fulfill that. Yes, be here with an open mind because you've got to learn as well. Those of you who indulge in certain things, I urge you, do not let your life be spoiled by such indulgences. It gains you nothing. Maybe those of you who are doctors or who are studying to be doctors will understand this better. But I remember reading somewhere that every time you drink a glass, you have alcohol, you kill one brain cell because your brain cell keeps on developing until a certain age. And if before it is fully developed, if you're going to start damaging it, just because you don't know how to handle it, all you're going to do is destroy your life. I don't want you, when I say, earlier when I said, don't be so focused on what other people are going to say, at the same time, I want you all also to be aware that you shouldn't ignore completely as well what your community expects of you. Because when one person brings shame, everybody is dragged into it. When one person brings fame, very rarely do they say that the whole community is doing well. I want you to celebrate your good people. I want you to share the stories of your good people who are doing really well. And when I say doing really well, I don't mean just the person who has got promotion and gone far ahead, but the person who has been consistent and in doing what they're doing. Maybe they don't come with an education qualification that will give them the room to become a manager one day, but doesn't mean that they are any less if they are contributing in whatever corner they are. Life gives you thousands of experiences every day. Your learning does not stop. I keep on learning every day. And I bet you are learning every day as well. No experience is a bad experience. When people say bad experience, I always say, look at it from the other's perspective. You know you're not going to do that anymore. So that itself is a good experience. So learn how to look at things positively. You're studying. If you find that you are finding it difficult to study a certain subject, go repeat it. 21 days of doing something continuously apparently becomes a habit. Maybe that is something that you need to start. Those of you who want to become entrepreneurs, don't just bandy the word entrepreneur, but look at what you are good at and think of what you want to do to become that best entrepreneur. If you're going to run a hotel or a restaurant, if you don't know how to bust the table, that means clean the table, how are you going to make sure that your employees are doing well? I've noticed that in Nagaland, a lot, this is from experience of seeing the people in Nagaland, that many of them have money. They will set up fancy looking places. The best interior designers in the country are from our region, I can tell you that. Especially if you walk around Dimapur and Kohima these days, you'll see beautiful, beautiful, not just homes, but restaurants and shops and amazing places. We're fantastic in setting up things, but we're not the best in managing it. Why? Because we're such visual people, we just look at the visual aspect and we don't look at what goes into make those everyday operations run. It is time to learn those. And you will learn those only when you roll up your sleeves and you start working among the people who are going to teach you this. You will learn this only when you pick up subjects that are close to your heart, that will give you the passion that needs to be done. That needs to push you to get it done. There are so many of you who will say, I want to be a social worker. I think I find that this to be like one of the most stupid things. Because when you say you're a social worker, you're bracketing yourself into a certain category, saying, I will only do this and I will not do more than that. But I want you to understand something. This is a very practical thing that I'm going to share with you. You want to be a social worker? You want to help people? Please learn how to help yourself first as well. Don't go around begging. If you don't earn, and you're forever going to go around begging and brandishing yourself as someone who is a social worker, it's a shame. Not everything is going to be perfect. Even me, with so many years of working, I still have my ups and downs. I refuse to be indulging in corruption of anything. I refuse to be bribed. I refuse to bribe. And so many of the time, I am sidelined because I don't indulge in all of those things. That's okay. I know God will open another door for me, and He has. Learn to be satisfied and live within the means that you are given at that time. Have ambition. I'm not saying don't have ambition. I am saying have ambition. Have aspirations to do much better than what you are, where you are, or where you were born into, what families you were born into. Have that ambition. But when you're having that ambition, don't throw away the values, your Christian values, as well as your family values, and as well as your community values. Your traditions, which are good, don't lose those. A lot of people think that having a BA degree or just brandishing that piece of paper, saying that you are educated, is good enough. It is not good enough. I meet thousands of young people who come to me with MBA degrees in certain things, like, let's say someone will come to me and say, I have an MBA in marketing. If I give them a bottle and I say, sell this to me, they can't sell it. So don't get an education or don't get an academic education just because you want that degree. Get it because you want to learn something. If it is not working out, try again. If it is still not working out, try again. Maybe try it from a different approach. Those of you who are here to study, I hope you are picking up the courses that you're picking up, not because it's an easy subject to score, not because your parents told you to do it, not because you think you will make lots of money out of it, but I hope it is because you have a passion for it as well. We have a lot of students who are, people here who are from a theological studies background or who are working or preparing themselves to work for the Lord. Those of you who are not doing theological studies, I want you to know something. You can be missionaries in whatever corner you are sent. You can speak about your faith in whatever corner you are. Just don't be stupid how you do it. Your life, the way you handle it, the way you care, the way you pursue the things in your life, the way you take care of things, the way you indulge in things, is the one that is going to tell people whether you are following a true faith or not. A lot of the times, I think we are the most relaxed Christians, I should say. We take it so easy. Being a true Christian is very difficult, I can tell you that. It is not that easy if you are trying by yourself. But when you put faith in God, it becomes a lot easier. Believe me, I've gone through the whole phases, so I know. It took me along. When I was 15 years old, my grandmother had a vision and she told me, Rizal, you're supposed to work with young people. Young people? I said, I am not studying theology. Because that was all I thought of. She said that she saw me addressing a crowd of young people. And I said, there's no way I'm going to be studying theology, because I had in my mind that I was going to be an engineer or a doctor or a lawyer. That was it. Then everything went along. I did many things. And when I was in New York in 2000, my mom called me and told me that my grandmother had a vision for me again, saying that through me, many young people are going to get jobs. And I was working as interviewing a group of people for a new store that we were opening for the company that I was working up in Westchester. And I said, oh, I think she means, I think she must be thinking about, she must be seeing about what I'm doing right now. I'm interviewing a bunch of people to give them jobs. So maybe that was it. And I forgot about it completely. In 2007, when my grandmother passed away, we were putting away her things, and my grandmother was a devout Christian, a woman of God whose gift was the gift of seeing visions, and everything was written there. And in that one book section was Visions for Roselle. And when I read through it, so many things that she had seen had already come to pass. And who am I to ignore it? Today, when I look back, the things that I went through, whether it was up or down, I know that God chose me to go through all of those to prepare me for what I am doing today. If I talk about career counseling, it's because He put me in different positions, most unexpected places where I shouldn't even be getting those jobs, I got it. Most places where I shouldn't even been having those experiences, I had it. And today, I reflect and I say that God already knew where I was supposed to be, what I was supposed to do, and He was preparing me for it. I'm not perfect. I commit sins every day, just like many of you. But I know that God loves me and that He's always forgiving me, and it is still using me to prepare paths for others. My time will come and I will go. New people will rise up and take over where we leave off, and that's where you are. This is your future. Your future, you alone control it. Nobody else does it. For you, one other person though. When I say nobody else, I'm talking about earthly people. But God, our Heavenly Father, already knows what you're supposed to do. He can very easily say, okay, do this, and then make you do it. But He doesn't. He gives us choices. And what choice are you going to make, young people? It's very important that you make the right choices. It's very easy to just roll over and ignore and compartmentalize God in one chamber and take Him out sometimes and then close it. That's what many of us do. But that's where we go wrong. I think when we involve Him in our lives every day, and don't worry, if you've been doing things wrong, don't worry. He is forgiving you every day. And that is exactly why I want you all to understand that you are no less than the person sitting next to you. In God's eyes, you and I are all the same. I am one person who doesn't believe in somebody having a podium and somebody, being higher than the other. I believe that all of us are equal, just that we are given different roles, and that we just have to do well with those roles. Those of you who are here to study, please start a schedule, a routine where you repeat everything. So I'll just share with you what I used to do. Every day what I learned in school or college, I will go back and do a revision. I paid attention in class. That's one thing that I did, was even though I don't necessarily take down all the notes, I pay attention in class. I go back and I revise, kind of review what was studied that day. Doesn't take you longer than 5 minutes to just go through what each teacher did. And then at the end of the week, I consolidate what I studied. And at the end of the month, again, I do. So it's like goal setting. You have a big goal, but you give yourself little goals that you can achieve, achievable goals. And then when you find it difficult, raise your voice and ask. Many of our students are afraid to open their mouth and ask. As a teacher, I will tell you, I learn when somebody asks me questions, because that makes me think. That makes me think, did I not say it correctly? What did I say? How did I say it? Then I'll go back and look at what I did. So I grow too as a person. And when people ask me, that makes me happy, because then I know that they've been paying attention, and I will give extra attention to that person to learn more. Today, as I said earlier, it's a multitasking world. So when you are studying your subject, don't just be a subject memorizer, but be somebody who can be applying it in real life as well. Create debates, question, be ready to accept other people's views, And if you're going to counter it with something very practical. Don't fight. I'm a good one to say that because if you see me on social media, I'm always arguing with people about certain things. I've tempered down a lot. I think it comes with age as well. But I want you to know something. Unless you voice out, people will not hear you. Unless you voice out, people will not know and people will not hear what you want to say. Unless you voice out, you will not know when you are wrong. That's the other thing. You'll go through life thinking I'm perfect. You'll go through life thinking I'm doing everything correct. Whereas you may be going off on a tangent completely. When you do something, do it well. Give your best. No mediocrity. This is something that many of us seem to ignore. Nam Sampara Kuriwo. I don't know many of you if you understand Nagamese, but this is like just in name. Oh, let me just scrape through. Let me just pass. Why do we have to be the tail end? Why can we not be the leaders? Who says the next Prime Minister of India cannot be from Nagaland, Manipur, among the Nagas? Who says the next scientist who's going to who's going to revolutionize something in the country cannot come from us? Who says the next best architectural designer is not going to be that young man who's come to study architecture? Who says that we have to continuously be the people who will always be on the entry level only? In the course of our work, I always look for companies who are looking to give room to our people who are willing to grow vertically, not just horizontally, but is going to give them a platform to grow vertically. And I'm very proud to say many of the young people that we have sent have done divinely. I mean, they have done amazing work. They have contributed back to the economy at home. Talk about expatriates from here, sending money back home, building up homes, catering to the education of their children. Some of you may know some of those people as well. They're doing really well because they understood that they're no less than others. If your English is a little weak, work on it. You don't have to speak with an accent. Just get it correct. You don't have to speak bombastic words. Just make yourself understood and understand what people are saying. Another thing I want you young people to work on, and this is us grown-ups as well, listening skill. Please build up a listening skill. If you do not learn how to listen, you will not comprehend what is being taught or what is being shared. If you do not know how to comprehend what is being taught, you will never learn how to express yourself. Simple as that. Listen, then you will comprehend or understand. And when you understand, you will learn how to express. And when you learn how to express, people will accept. It's as simple as that. So, there's so much that I would love to share with you, but if I continue on, I'm known to speak too long, so I don't want to do that. I want to encourage you to be the best people you can be. I applaud and congratulate the NSBS, the Naga community, I will say, for bringing so much changes in the last few years in Bangalore. Because, social media, when we look to see what is happening in the different communities, I think Naga Students Union Bangalore, the Naga community in Bangalore is standing apart from many of the other communities outside. Delhi has a big population, but I think after Delhi it must be Bangalore. And you have the privilege of changing what people think of us. If you're working in a hotel, be the best person. Learn the skill. Go back home one day. Teach that skill to others. Take it into your daily life. The things that you do in your everyday life should reflect in your work and in your home as well. Learn how to be clean people. Clean up. This is something I want to share on a practical, very practical way. If your life is a mess, if your everyday organization is a mess, your life will be a mess as well. So learn how to put things into order in your own everyday lives, whether it's education or keeping your house clean, it's simple as that. Please make sure that you learn how to organize. People who do not know how to organize will always be in a fluster and will find it very difficult to accomplish things. I am talking from experience. Learn how to chew. Learn how to bite what you can chew before you go on and take another bite and then keep everything hoarding in your mouth. One step at a time. Do well. Those of you who have friends who don't like to attend these kind of things, be the ambassador to influence them to come back and join the community here. Make sure that you become contributing people in Bangalore society as well. Make sure that if you're entrepreneurs, you do a great job. Pay your taxes, because you know that when you're here, you have to pay taxes. Back home, we are very lucky that we are not paying income tax. We pay other taxes, but we don't pay income tax. So enjoy it while it lasts. Think of things you want to create at home. Think of what is going to the future. What is the future? IT, the hub where you are living in, this is going to be in control of any job that you are going to be looking for. So make sure that you empower yourself in this aspect as well. When you go home for vacation, please don't just go and have a good time and eat food, all the lovely food that you miss out here, and go back, but use that time to please make sure that you mentor someone back home. Please make sure that you educate someone, the things that you learn here. I'm not where I am because I knew everything at one go. No, somebody taught me and I learned it, and I am sharing it with you. The knowledge that you gain, share it. A selfish person who keeps knowledge to himself will never prosper, because it takes a community to help move your idea. It takes a community to support what you're going to do. So I had taken a 1-week UN entrepreneurship course recently. And something that I took away from it was that if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, support every other entrepreneur around you. Because if they don't succeed, you will not succeed. And that is what I want to share with you. If you're here to study, support everybody else who's around you who's studying, and see what you can do to help them. If you are here as an entrepreneur, do your best and make sure that you don't just selfishly indulge only for yourself, but make sure that you get the whole community to support you. If you're a teacher, do the best you can. If you're a pastor, they will be doing the same thing. And live within your means. Aspire to have more, but let that aspiration be according to what God would want you to do. I'm not a preacher to preach you all of those things, but I'm just sharing with you the practical things that I have experienced in my life. Honesty still pays. It may be difficult, and you may want to think, nobody's going to know. If I do this, nobody's going to know, and I can do it. But I can tell you, it always comes back. You cannot hide it. And so, with that, I want to tell you, I want to share with you all that I have been very privileged to stand before you here this afternoon. And I look forward to more occasions when we can actually have workshops, not just me standing up on a podium and talking to you like this, but we have interaction times where we can do workshops together. I want to part by saying thank you very much for this time, and for the remaining of your 50th years that you're going to be, 50th years celebrations that you're going to go forward preparing. Please gather more people, feel a sense of pride in the community, and give your best and do your best in wherever God has placed you. Thank you very much, everyone.